beautiful people. This in their ear.
It's Kev.
And yo, we are GamesMusicLyfe. We're back to review for this EP from PartyNextDoor titled 7 Days.
Yeah.
PartyNextDoor is my guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's my guy. You
He
know,
is.
I caped for him. I thought Colors was very well. It was four songs on Colors. This one has what, seven tracks, so 7 days. This wasn't Colors. Let's go ahead and get there and say that. It wasn't bad, okay? First, let me just say that. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. I found myself listening to this wondering who could sing it better, though. And I think that that's the problem with PartyNextDoor.
You know, I've been saying this for a long time.
Even Colors was so good. And I thought, like, this one wasn't too bad, but this one was the one I listened to, like, you know what? Justin Bieber might sound better on this. Or somebody like Music Soul Child, whoever, anyone else would sound better than him. And I think because he writes for people and because he is Drake's writer, and we hear other people like Rihanna who sung his songs and get credit for it, and we can hear the influence from him, that I don't know if we want to hear him. You know, and that's my gripe with him, and that's why I think he's putting out these little EPs, little feeler projects to see if people are feeling them and see if he can come out as an artist. I don't think there's room for him. I think there's room for him as a writer. I don't think people want to hear him as an artist.
He's trying to gauge the temperature out here.
And as being a PartyNextDoor fan, I don't know if I want to hear him.
Yikes.
You know? And
that's
it's like,
cold.
And that's where I found myself being hurt by the project, because I found myself, like, literally, out of the 7 tracks, 4 of them I think somebody else could have bodied.
Ooh.
You know? And I think that's where it comes down to him, because I think he can sing. But his voice is weird, man, because he uses the vocoder, so I don't even know what he sounds like on the video. You know,
that's always been kind of the biggest hill that he's had to climb, in my opinion.
Yeah, because even on Colors at one point we reviewed it, we talked about it, like he sounded like Young Thug at one point.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think?
Man, for me, first thing that kind of stuck out for me, man, the album didn't sound like anything I've heard from anyone else, and I think that was actually his greatest strength on here. You know, P&D writes for a lot of people, man. He writes big hits for a lot of people. And the fact that he was able to find a way to separate the hits that he writes from the music that he puts out from himself, I felt like that was something special. That was tough to do. Yeah. Because, I mean, you know, I've heard a lot of the reference tracks they recorded for these hits, and they want to right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can write the songs, but sometimes he can't perform them. Right. Yeah. But you know what? I think that it was just that his style sometimes doesn't lend itself to, you know, songs like Wild Thoughts. Yeah. Where it's like, man, Rihanna brought an energy and a sound to that track that he just wasn't going to be able to do. Right. And the fact that he realized that, I definitely think that was definitely one of his best or biggest strengths. I think a lot of artists run into a block, especially ones that write for other artists, where they don't realize, you know, where their strengths and weaknesses are. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes they keep back some of their better stuff, and, you know, it doesn't really pan out for them as well. Yeah. With it, I will say some of the songs on this project, they come off sounding a little bit sloppy, and that's always been one of Party's Achilles heel. That first track, that Bad Intentions, it's like between the singing and the beat is a little bit awkward, and you know, the drum pattern is a little bit off.
Like that on there. Yeah, like, doing it on purpose.
Yeah, it like they just didn't mesh, and it kind of throws you off as a listener. I thought actually the songwriting was pretty solid for the most part, and the arrangements kept the songs fresh. Again, it doesn't sound like anything else I've ever heard, especially not from him. Songs like "Play Me," "Damage," and "Better Man." Yeah, "Better Man." I felt like those brought out the best in P&D, in my opinion. 7 tracks was perfect length for this album. It gave him just enough space not to get in his own way, so I thought that was great. Another big knock, like you were saying about his vocals, man, the auto-tune doesn't really hide P&D's weak points as far as his singing ability or his range. So when he tries to go outside of his range, you can really hear it. Yeah. But when he stays in his pocket, man, he actually sounds really good. If he would just stay that spot, he'd be fine.
I want him to be clear with his vocals.
Absolutely.
Like, his biggest track, in my opinion, was "Come and Talk to Me" with Drake, right?
Yeah.
He was clear. You know, when he gets himself in trouble, which I like Drake, is that he's very clear and enunciating when he raps and sings. Yeah. Now, he's not the best singer, he's not the best rapper, but you can understand what he's saying.
He knows his limits, he works with his strengths.
That's the thing with P&D. I think he gets himself in trouble when he does a little bit too mumbly. Yeah. Like, he mumble sings, which I don't even know people can do that. But he does it. He's a mumble singer. Yeah. You know? And I think that if he's clear with his vocals and we understand, because he's saying some stuff. Yeah. But I think he needs to clean it up. You know,
I think what it is that bruh is so talented. He has an idea of what he wants the music to sound like, but he's just not capable of delivering it, and he may not be able to accept the fact that he can't deliver, you know, the sound that he thinks is, you know, what should be in that pocket, because a lot of times I see the vision, but it's like, yo, the delivery just isn't quite there for him.
Right.
And a lot of times that's where he tends to get in his own way. You know, that's always been my biggest gripe with P&D. I'm like, yo, he's a very talented writer, but the singing and just sometimes the way that he arranges his songs, it just all gets to sounding very muddy, very just garbled, and just like it's just layered on top of layered on top of layered on top of each other, to the point that it's hard to really get into a vibe with it. But on this project, I felt like he stayed away from it, man. The tracks to me really flowed well together, even though sonically they explored a lot of different sounds. Like there were a couple of songs on here that were really, really, I don't want to say dark, but they were really kind of dreary, really moody. The song he has with Hasley, I felt like really dancey, up-tempo, poppy, but the overall sound of the project, it all flowed together. I never felt like there was any jarring points on there. Overall, man, I think this might have been my favorite P&D project to date. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's like one of my favorite albums, but it was. I liked it. I gave it a 78. I thought it was all right.
I gave it a 74.
Okay, yeah, right in the same wheelhouse.
P&D fan, I know, because you've never really cared for him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would have normally punted this thing right on up under it. Yeah, 78.
That's pretty high.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah, that's pretty high. But I think he does need to do more little projects like this.
Yeah.
Just to get a feeler out there, but then at some point you just got to put it out.
I feel like he just got to keep it real with himself as far as, you know, what he does well and what he doesn't. Like,
I don't think he can, because every now and then,
he's too talented. He hears it. He hears what he knows that these songs could be.
It's got to be tough though.
It's got to be tough.
And hearing other people just blow the heck up from your hits.
Yeah.
Because once a quarter we get a rant from you. You know, something's gonna happen, and I get it.
It makes sense, but you know what, man? Drake was doing him a great service, because it was like, yo, listen, you can't perform these songs like how I can perform them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that he hears it in his head, but when he goes to lay it down, it just doesn't translate as well.
And I think for him as an artist, I know Drake's his man, but I get if he kept it honest with us and we could talk to him, I know in his heart of hearts he would wonder, like, I love the fact that Drake is doing it, but he's might be getting the more pub because he's Drake. But no, he performs it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not because he got it's because he has the star power. I think it's because that's Drake sang Shang Tsung. But that's his power.
That's his talent right there.
Right there.
He can deliver. Yeah.
Absolutely. So even though he didn't write it or whatever, you can get it out of here.
Hey.
But yo, let us know what you guys think, man.
If you're a P&D fan, it was 100.
P&D fans, you give it 100. Guess what? You're right.
Absolutely.
Leave in the comments what you thought. I know people will come in and think, "Oh, you guys crapped on." No, we didn't.
We didn't, man. I actually enjoyed it for a P&D project, man.
Right.
Hey, man, I showed love.
Yeah, you did.
I showed love.
All
right.
Y'all know how hard this was.
I showed love on this.
Debates over P&D.
I've not been a P&D fan, but this project I thought was pretty solid.
Right. Absolutely. So let us know what you guys think, man. I am Nate here.
This Kev.
Yo, we are GamesMusicLyfe, man. Drink more water, people.
Peace.